love it.
Hello, Dom. I figured we should. Did you? Oh yeah, you did. You said where I was last week, but I'm gonna.
Yeah. You were out boogieing.
Yeah, boogieing at CRJ, Carly Rae Jepsen, and I can tie this back into the stream because someone in the crowd, right in the front row, had a big plush Jigglypuff toy that they were holding up for most of the concert, which was fun.
Awesome.
There was also someone obviously had a big sword in the crowd.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, like, she didn't acknowledge either of them. And I bet it's because, like, she doesn't want to encourage people to bring props and stuff because it's sort of more hassle for security and whatever. So even though she probably appreciates it, like, you can't, like, if you acknowledge it, it encourages more people to do that.
Then you'll have 100 Jigglypuffs to deal with.
Yeah.
Swords.
Yeah. What's going on?
I just finished moving.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Good. Yeah. I was actually, I made a massive, bit of a rookie error, really, given how many times I've moved in my life. I packed my Switch in a box, and the box got taped up and brought over to the new place, and then I couldn't play it for 2 days because I was like, I'm gonna be super organized and pack like this specific thing away, and yeah, no, bad move.
You only have yourself to blame, but I do feel sorry for you.
Yeah, it's completely my fault. But we're back, and I've been exploring the wild area, and I'm fucking loving it. It's so much fun just going around.
Apparently you're a bit quiet. Do you have a way to turn yourself up? But if you don't, I can turn you up.
No, I do. That should do it. And I'll do some settings changing over here. Like so. That should be better. But yeah, apart from
I'll turn you up a little bit.
Not playing Pokemon, it's been
Yeah, it's been.
It's just been okay. How about you? How's life since Carly Rae Jepsen?
Forever changed, obviously. It was great.
Yeah.
Obviously it's my turn to do this. Welcome to Pokemon X and Y. I'm Brendan.
And I'm Bianca.
How's it going? I was away last week. Feels good to be back, especially because I finished Pokemon Sword and Shield last week and I wasn't there to talk about it. And the main reason I'm concerned about that is because I have to correct a few things that I mentioned in our mini review.
Absolutely. It's very much something that did not age well
when
I finished the game. Yeah.
My sentiments overall, like my overall feelings about the game, are exactly the same. It's probably my favourite so far. Favourite gen? Beating Gen 5. Real good times. Here's the things that need to be corrected. Hop, actually the best boy. A great boy. I was so wrong. I love him. It's because of his arc. He just has a really good character arc.
Yeah. Hop after the first 5 hours of the game is completely different to Hop when you finish the game.
Yeah.
And it's excellent.
There is a world-ending subplot, but you don't get to see any of it because they're like, oh, there was a giant Pokemon going crazy, but I already did it. It's fine.
I already dealt with it for you.
Yeah.
You fight this one left over.
Yeah.
It's just neatly in the stadium by itself.
Yeah. But that plot, it's not the main plot. It doesn't take too long to get through. It's fine. Dynamax battles are a bit more involved than originally thought because when I was talking about last time, I'd only done 2-star raid. I've since done a lot of it. And you get sick of how long they take and doing 5-star raids with 3 NPCs and them using like not a Jigglypuff, using a Magikarp and a Wobbuffet.
And the Quillfish. Quillfishes.
So it could still need but I really appreciate there being some sort of PvE thing. And I think they justified using the whole giant Pokemon thing well with that.
Yeah.
Which I can't believe I'm saying because I was so opposed to Gigamax Pokemon, but yeah, it's fine.
I've also felt that the way that Dynamax, because I've done a bit of the Battle Tower, now not very much, but I have done a bit of the Battle Tower, and the idea that when it's only 3, the Dynamaxing is, I feel, very, very different, because instead of like, and especially in the battle tower, because you're not actually just stomping a gym leader and it's like, oh, it's Steel Gym, I'll just Dynamax my Fire Pokemon and one-shot the shit out of everybody. If you Dynamax your Fire Pokemon, they'll probably swap in a Water Pokemon, just like a real person would.
Yeah.
So I'm curious how it will work, like actually battling other people. I haven't tried any of the online battles yet.
Yeah, they're probably, yeah.
I've only done it in the battle tower, but I'm really curious, just because I'm actually like kind of enjoying it, because it's not Mega Evolving, it's different, and it's not whatever the fuck it was called in Sun and Moon, G Max Ultra Move, whatever. What are those things called?
Z moves.
Z moves.
Yeah, or Z moves, but you know.
G Max is what they're called now. Yeah, Z.
G Max is something else. Whoa.
Yeah, so I'm enjoying it from that perspective too, because it feels like it's not as simple as I Mega Evolved my Pokemon first and therefore I win.
Yeah, it's yeah, that's a good point. But I agree with you that I think it will be interesting in competitive, like, because it's sort of like Mega Evolution, but just for 3 turns. I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I guess the idea too would be that it shakes up the meta a little bit. But I've done a little bit of diving. I haven't gone online yet because I've been preparing. Not breeding, but just training and getting ready for the big show. So I've got 2 Pokemon that are ready to go. One of them is my original Cinderace, which I was farming berries for a long time to bring its EVs down. Nice. That was a great time. And the other one is a Hydreigon, nice. Which I just love. And while I was at Kelly Ray Jepsen, I was talking about it. During a song, I leant over to Tommy and I said, all I can think about is Hydreigon. It's just so cool.
Such a cool thing.
Yeah. So one of the questions that we had, I mean, not that we were posed, we asked ourselves these questions. Can we do it? We could do a battle on stream. Totally.
Oh, we totally should. That's a great idea.
Yeah, it wouldn't be that hard either, I don't think. Maybe it would. Who knows? But yeah, one of the things we asked ourselves was how this show would continue. Well, it's not like we can't continue. More the opposite, in fact. How will we go on with Sword and Shield out? But we're like, should we do it? But I want to talk about the worst design, I think. There's actually, you'll understand. I'll be talking about 2 Pokemon this episode. But while we're doing this preamble, Bianca, you already know. I was going to ask if you wanted to try guess which one I think is the worst design, because it's not Impidimp and it's not any of the Impidimp lines. Also, Gigamax, whatever the Impidimp's last thing is, it reminds me a lot of the Evangelion.
I was going to say that. I was actually going to say that, yeah, because it definitely gives off that vibe. Even pre-evolved, the way that it's very, I don't know how to say this word, but it's another one of my pronunciation blunders. Sinewy,
yeah.
Sinewy.
Yes.
Lots of texture on those limbs of his. Very noticeable.
Yeah, it's a lot. Hang on, I'll just bring this up here.
Yeah.
To show you what we're talking about.
Do a battle versus Mitch live on stream, because Mitch talks smack. He did, and he actually specifically requested, "Can you tell everybody that I'm almost finished my Pokedex?" So there you go, Mitch. You've almost finished Pokedex. Now the world knows.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I got nothing to lose. So if I battle Mitch,
Mitch has actually everything to lose.
Yeah, just need to put that out there. But yeah, this also reminds me of the big Heartless boss in Kingdom Hearts. I can't remember what its name is, but like the first thing that you fight in Kingdom Hearts.
The guy with the hair, as I like to call him.
Oh yes, I've heard of this. But yeah, it looks fucking sick.
Yeah, it's something though. Like it does look cool, and it very much looks like. Also, the way that I've just noticed this now. The way that his fingertips and toes are sort of like this reminds me of the Nobodies from Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah,
like curvy and stuff, but they're pointy on the end. Just strong Kingdom Hearts vibes from this.
What a shock!
Yeah,
but that's where we would go.
It's weird though, because it's yet another bipedal humanoid Pokemon,
Yeah.
which is becoming more and more and more and more prevalent. In fact, all of the starters turned into humanoids.
Cinderace just... I love Cinderace so much though. Like I'm shocked at this. It's just so dumb. Like when it comes out of its Pokeball, it does like the big soccer celebration slide, does a big power slide on its knees, and just goes ah.
I'm glad that you like it because I think I said that. I don't know who I said this to, but I definitely said it to somebody, and that's that Sobble. I loved him less as time went on, and when he became Inteleon, I didn't care for him at all. It's really disappointing because I fucking loved Sobble so much. I loved him so much, and then he turned into a little emo boy, and I was like, yeah, this is
I like
alright.
Emo Boy.
This is alright.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he got pants, and
See, I never cared for Cinderace like before I started playing, and then when Cinderace arrived, I was like, "Hell yeah, dog, Cinderace! Fuck yeah, go off, king."
yeah.
Yeah. So, no one guessed what I think the least good design is. The worst design.
We got sidetracked. We were talking about the Kingdom Hearts boy.
Yeah. No, it's good, but yeah, it's we need a pronunciation for this one too.
This meme is excellent, can I just say?
Thank you. It's all I could think.
Yep. So I'm gonna have a crack.
I haven't said it out loud yet.
Yeah, me neither. Stonjourner.
Stonjourner is what I would say.
Stonjourner could also be correct.
Yeah. But I feel like Stonjourner is... Or is it? I don't know.
I don't know.
But Stonjourner... I'll go with Stonjourner. I feel like that's right.
Stonjourner, yeah.
Stonjourner!
It's a me.
Cool. We already talked about your Pokedex, Mitch.
It's been done. Don't worry.
So...
Blipbug is... Can I just say quickly? Good guess. I hate Blipbug. I think I talked about this last on the episode when you weren't here, but how much I hate Blipbug.
Oh no, we talked about it too.
Oh, we talked about it too.
Yep.
Okay. Everything about it.
I think I mentioned it. It triggers my trypophobia, even though it shouldn't.
Yeah.
So Stonjourner. So the name and theming and everything, obviously based on the... I can't believe I forgot. Stonehenge.
Yes.
Obviously. I don't know if should I mention why I don't like it first? There's a few reasons. Or do you want to hear some facts?
Oh, no, yeah. Hit us with the facts.
Okay.
Hit us with the facts.
So Stonjourner obviously arrived from stone, but the second part of it, I didn't know what the journer part was. It's derived from the word sojourner, which means someone who resides temporarily. It's like
like a holiday maker type thing.
Yeah.
Well, not quite holiday, but like more permanent.
Yeah, I believe the word is used in the Bible at some time. I think what they're going for, it's like a reference to you know how like the rocks from Stonehenge, they came from 32 kilometers away in some mine and they carried them. I think that might be what they're mentioning, like because it walks and like...
It's here now.
You see, I think that's what they're going for.
Yeah.
I'll mention its Pokedex entries too. It stands in grasslands watching the sun's descent from zenith to horizon. This Pokemon has a talent for delivering dynamic kicks.
Yeah.
I've never heard that word, by the way. I'm dedicated.
Which one?
Sojourn. I'm just looking at the chat.
Yeah, I have, but only because it's French, at least. It has a slightly different meaning, so...
Well, we speak English here in this country, so...
I'm sorry.
Oh, I just went to a dark place. I just blacked out for a second there, Bianca. So the Shield Pokedex entry is once a year on a specific date and at a specific time. They gather out of nowhere and form up in a circle, which is an extremely on-the-nose reference to it being Stonehenge. So... What? Oh, yeah, also, it's the big rock Pokemon.
Of course.
You know how we love that.
Not the big items. It'd be right at home in Australia. If you were to be arrested for some crime and sent over here.
Yeah. There's also what I wanted to talk about too are these runes that are on it, on
Runes
its legs.
is a strong word.
That's exactly what they are. I don't think. Tell me what. I'm so angry.
I'm sorry for triggering you. I'm sorry.
Triggered much?
They're just crosses. Like runes. I feel like aren't runes intricate? If more than 2 lines.
Well, I mean, you could argue that there's more than 2 lines.
That's what any all video games come up with. You get a rune, it's like fucking at least like 4 or 5 different lines. That's like more like an alphabet type thing.
Yeah, I don't know. But
I mean,
I don't know about that.
I've kind of painted myself into a corner with that comment, so.
There's actually a different way to draw this, which is just a diamond box. By the way. Yes, the racism was definitely ironic. I apologize. I truly don't care what language you speak in any country for that matter. There's nothing I care about less. So I did a bit of research to try to figure out. I was like, is this like an actual rune? And does it mean something? And it does.
Interesting.
So in a modern context, runes are sort of used, it's got some sort of connection to tarot. I don't know how that was co-opted from Norse text, Norse language, but it was at some point. So this is a real rune, and it is called... So every other rune that I found, it had a very specific meaning. Like one rune meant like snake or like boat.
Okay, yeah.
So this one is called Ing. Or
okay.
Ingwas or Ingus, or all these other different pronunciations. I found lots of different interpretations. So the problem was, because it's a tarot thing, people are giving their own interpretation because that's what tarot is. So I couldn't find a specific sort of meaning for it, which was very difficult. It's the only rune that was like that. So fucking thanks, James Turner. But the main things that I found were that it refers to earth elements.
Okay.
Which makes sense. That wasn't the main thing, but it's one of the common ones that I saw. The other ones are internal growth or personal development, or male sexuality and fertility. Thanks, James Turner.
Thank you, James Turner, for putting this sexual content in my Pokemon game.
Yeah. So my thought is either there's 2, possibly 3 options. One of them is that they include it because it's like Earth and it's made of rocks. The other one is that it just looked cool and they didn't bother looking it up. The other one is that Stonjourner fucks.
I really hope it's the latter.
Yeah.
I really do.
We can talk about the Battle of Hastings, but last week I wasn't here to bloody talk about the American Civil War.
Oh yeah, no, you messaged me afterwards and told me what year it was.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah. By the way, when I ran out right before the stream, the reason why we started late was because I finally decided that on our stream, I really need to get a different water bottle and not keep showing the HP logo on stream,
Yes.
unless they give us mucho dineros. But I am using a water bottle given to me by a good friend from the Easter show. So, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, thought about taking it out of the show bag before giving it to you, but then I thought that would not be a good thing to do.
You got to catch them all.
I do. It's almost Easter time again. I can go and get my own this time.
It's almost Easter again. But hopefully they have the exact same show bag. So, I haven't mentioned why I don't like Stonjourner yet. There's 2 reasons.
Why wouldn't you like this big rock that fucks and kicks?
Kicks and fucks. There's 2 reasons. One, I would like this to be forever known as my catchphrase. But I've said it many times on the show, that the eyes are the window to the soul?
Yes. Yes, you have.
I've included a close-up of Stonjourner's face. And Nina, go on.
So what do you think his soul is showing us through these
What is it telling us? Oh, I had a bunch of slides. Here's what Stonehenge looks like. Here's what the rune looks like. But look at these dead ass eyes.
Are they dead? To me,
Or non-existent.
No, I agree with Dom. It's like a hey ladies, I'm trying to do a little winky. Like, yeah, how you going?
Oh, you're talking about the top because the top of it's cut off. I saw it more of a like, hey, what are you doing in my field or whatever.
Oh, like an aggressive, like
yeah, like an inquisitive / sort of intimidating. Because look at it, it's huge.
Yeah, it is huge. If it's okay. Again, I don't know too much about the world. How tall are the rocks at Stonehenge? I know they're really fucking big. How did they stand them up and stack them and all that?
Here's the photo of them. I'll see if we can suss out from this picture how tall they. No, I actually looked it up, and this is a true story. And I looked at the number, and I internalized it, and I said, should I write this down in my notes? I'm going to forget it. No, I'll remember it. I have no idea what it is. I completely forgot. I'm pretty sure the height of Stonjourner is like 8 feet or something like that.
So each of the rocks at Stonehenge each of the rocks at Stonehenge are 13 feet high.
Yeah, okay.
4 meters high. It's a big fucking rock, and they're 2 meters wide. Bloody hell, big rocks.
Have you ever seen Stonehenge?
No, I haven't. Not in the person. I've seen pictures.
Oh yeah, no, I thought so.
It's a brand new experience for me.
Yeah. Apparently it's underwhelming, but I don't know. That's all I've heard from people, but I'm sure it's great. I'm sure the people who live near it love it.
I thought about going there while I was overseas earlier this year, and then I realised that it's really actually quite expensive to get on trains and go to country locations in England.
Yeah.
I don't want to waste a day doing that, so no thanks.
Yeah, good idea. It's a bit rough.
Yeah.
The other reason that I don't like it, and this is sort of the main reason, not unrelated to the fucking non-existent eyes that say nothing, is that you don't need to draw inspiration from a physical landmark to design a Pokemon. I don't understand. Put it in the game.
Yeah.
As a landmark.
I feel like it would be like if in X and Y, instead of having a Parisian town and a tower, they just made a little thing that was a triangular tower-looking Pokemon.
Yeah, exactly.
But, I don't know. I feel like if we can go after inanimate objects, we can go after anything.
See, it's less about an inanimate object and more of it being a landmark. I'm not going to go after inanimate objects because that's fine with me. It's that, like, they reference other parts of the UK and Britain, I should say, in Sword and Shield. Why for Stonehenge they were like, let's get a Pokemon out of this. Like, what animals are native to the UK that aren't in the game represented? I don't even know. I wouldn't even know what animals are genuinely native to the UK. I assume like rabbits and foxes. Yeah, that's all I think. Yeah, maybe, and birds, probably some sort of birds. Ravens. Yeah. Ravens. Well, there's Corviknight. Yeah. Goats. Yeah, they're around. You got Wooloo. Boars. Oh, yeah, you said boars. You can type it in chat. Goats. Badgers are it. Oh, yeah. We've got Obstagoon. He's badger. Yeah, and also representing American rock band Kiss. Oh yeah. Kids together at last. Badgers and Kiss. See, I think that could have leaned harder into punk a little bit. I know that's what they were going with Team Yell and Toxicity, or even more music. Like, I saw a tweet today saying that the music inspired things, but there's no reference to the Beatles, which, like, you think there would be one.
Yeah. But I mean, like, how would you make something that's a reference to the Beatles? I guess.
Well, they put Stonjourner in the game, so they can take influence from fucking anywhere, apparently.
They should make a pedestrian crossing Pokemon.
Yes, an Abbey Road Pokemon. Is that what you're
Yeah.
getting at? Yeah, yeah. Or, oh, no, like Sergeant Pepper Octopus's Garden thing.
Oh my god, a beetle Pokemon.
Yeah, there is a beetle Pokemon, but it evolves from that fucking trypophobia bug. And has nothing to do with the Beatles. It could have had like a mop top, or like, I mean, there's many different designs you could go for with the Beatles.
Yeah, yeah.
A Brexit Pokemon. I mean, actually, that joke was made. Oh, what? Never mind.
But it's funny because like they've also like really hit the mark in terms of getting inspiration from like because Corviknight, right? I noticed that there was there's a either a dex entry or someone says it in the game about the fact that if the Corviknights ever leave Galar, like that would be bad, or like they have to always be there.
Yeah.
And I learned when I went on a tour when I was overseas that in the Tower of London they have these ravens because like fucking 1,000 years ago this one king was like, we have to have ravens here all the time, it's the law, and if they ever leave it's going to be bad, or there'll be a curse or something. I don't really remember, but they had to have ravens there, and so they're like, no, we take that very seriously, the ravens live here.
Yes. Yes, I also know that.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a very widespread piece of knowledge. I didn't.
Oh no, I don't.
Before I learned that, but I I remember knowing that and then realizing that, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. And then there's the rock Pokemon where it's like,
Yep.
yeah. I don't know. I feel like this is the thing, though. This is what I was going to disagree with you about. I was warning you earlier.
Yes.
Warning. I said I agree with warning. I agree with pretty much everything you've said, except I just don't care as strongly. Like, it doesn't bother me as much. I just sort of see it and I'm like, oh yeah, cool. He's all right. Don't love him, but I don't hate him.
That's very fair. I feel like it's a combination of that and this face.
Yeah.
Like the two things mixed together, because it's like get Stonehenge and put eyes on it.
Yeah.
Uninspired. Oh shit, I just opened Battle.net. So there's actually one other Pokemon in Sword and Shield that is based on a landmark, but it's based on a building. Well, I guess technically Stonehenge is a building, but
Wow. It hasn't got a roof.
I mean, it was built by people.
Okay. Well, all right. By the literal definition, yes.
Yeah. But no one knows what it was for, by the way. It's theories. There's another one, and I hate it a lot, which is Duraludon, which I didn't realize until the very end is a dragon type as well.
Yeah. I don't care for this Pokemon. We talked about this with his stupid fucking iron head. Not the move. It's like an iron that you would use to iron clothes.
Yeah, I saw it more of as a cigarette lighter, but a clothes iron too. It's lots of shit going on. None of it has anything to do with dragons.
Oh yeah, and the stovetop coffee pot makes the thing it reminded me of.
Great inspiration, but does it also remind you of Le Shard?
It does. It totally does.
It doesn't. So when I think I was doing a Dynamax raid, someone brought the Duraludon out, and it was nicknamed Empire State. I was like, you fucking yank. It's not...
Stupid Americans out of themselves once again. Idiots.
Look, this is the only type of racism I'm going to spout.
Yeah, it's shaming dumb Yanks.
Yeah, they should know. They should know. This is what the shard looks like in real life. It is an obvious reference. Why they decide the steel dragon should evolve into a giant office tower in London, I don't know. Should they have made a Gherkin Pokemon? Yes.
Dude, we're like wolves. We are in sync tonight, because I was just about to say, fuck this, make the dildo Gherkin Pokemon that everybody wanted to see.
I only just...
Coward's way out.
Yeah, do it. Make the dildo. Make the bad dragon. What else is there? There's a big radio thing. They're the only 3 buildings in London.
Yeah, nothing else is important.
I've been to London.
Brendan knows.
Mhm,
He
I
has
know
a
this.
photographic memory of all of the buildings in London, and
I
they're
do.
the only 3.
I do. Oh, there's also the Tower of London. I've been there.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I know about the Ravens. But I did not know that there was the Pokédex entry about the Ravens leaving Galar. That is
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, I don't know actually if it's the Dex entry, or if it's just something that's like an NPC said to me at some point.
Oh,
when I
yeah.
talked to them. But as soon as I heard it, I was like, I get you, James Turner. You've done something I did.
So I'm going to go to the very close runner-up for Brendan's worst Pokemon. And I'll explain why it's only the runner-up.
Mm-hmm.
Shall we proceed?
Let's get it over with.
It's
me.
its entire life is pain.
This Pokemon was the first fossil that I got.
It's the only fossil that I got. I got 2 of them.
I went up to the fossil lady and she was like, give me your fossils. And I was like, fuck yeah, this is how must be I get my fossil Pokemon. And I didn't know that this is what was going to happen. And I gave her my fossils and this is what she gave me. And I just went, Jesus, Lord in heaven, wept over this.
Weep. So the only reason that this is number 2, so Stonjourner, whatever, Zendaya is Michi. I think it's the worst design, but it doesn't offend me. I'm not. It doesn't make actually. Well, this Arctizel doesn't offend me, but it makes my eyes feel bad when I look at it.
It makes me sad.
It makes me sad, and my eyes are in pain.
Yeah.
The only reason that I wouldn't consider this my absolute worst is because the narrative of these dinosaur Pokemon is quite strong, and shoving the 2 halves together. But we'll get to that.
I'm curious that you say that because that's what we've done here, right? This is how we've made these Pokemon. We've gotten half a dinosaur Pokemon, half a dinosaur fossil, half a bird fossil, whatever it was. I forget which 2. And literally put them in a machine that puts them together, and ta-da, we've made a Pokemon.
See,
I can understand that, but then why do the Dex entries talk about like, oh, well, back in the olden days it had issues? This Pokemon didn't exist in the olden days. What are you talking about? And by the olden days, I mean the dinosaur age. I'm talking about the Jurassic here.
You've touched on what I was going to bring up with these 4 Pokemon, which I'm very glad you went the same direction that my brain did. But before I get to that, I'll talk about Arctozolt in particular. So, by the way, I didn't want to include the movement, but when it's moving, it's like shaking around and it's all like, fucked up. Yeah, it looks awful. And its really eyes are constantly like that.
Yeah, it's not having a fun time.
The entry for Sword is the shaking of its freezing upper half is what generates its electricity and has a hard time walking around. The Shield entry says, this Pokemon lived on prehistoric seashores and was able to preserve food with the ice in its body. It went extinct because it moved so slowly.
So it went extinct because it moved slowly and it had a hard time walking around, which seems like it's a pretty key feature for a living thing to have, to be able to walk around and do things.
And this fucking scientist that lives in the middle of the desert just slammed these 2 Pokemon together, just mashed them. How did this live in prehistoric times? I know you already talked about this, but now it's time for me to bring it up.
It's just like it's the first thing you think of though. Like, or at least for me, I'm like, a fossil Pokemon that I have just created refers to what it was like. I made this. I am its god. I have become unto a god. Yeah.
Become as gods. Nier Automata.
Oh yeah.
2016.
Can't wait to get my little boy out, my little toy. Anyway.
So yeah, I take your point that the narrative isn't as strong as I represented it to be, but I still there's a good idea if they just got rid of any references to prehistoric stuff in the Pokédex entries, then it would have been fine, but they fucked it up.
Yeah. But they could have, if they wanted to, they could have said like that part of this Pokemon was this. Like they could have even done one half of the dex entry in shield, like the top half gets its dex entry in shield, and the other half, the bottom half, gets it in sword.
Oh, what I was thinking was the Pokédex entries are themselves, and they have one sentence from one half and the other sentence from the other half, and you have to
really
piece them together as well.
Yeah. This is
James, come on, mate.
why don't they just send me a job offer, mate? It's, my DMs are open, James. Hit me up.
I follow you on Twitter. Follow me back, bro. I love your dark child, Lugia.
My dark child. Oh my god. I can't believe that he's like, yeah, that's the first Pokemon I made, and he animated that whole thing in Pokemon XD.
Yeah.
Good on him.
It's very impressive. GameCube stuff.
I feel a little bad. I don't know if I've done this clearly on stream or if I've just said this to myself, but I dunked on James Turner a lot about Vanillish and all of the things that he's done. But you know what? James Turner, you've done all right. He's
no Todd Howard.
He's not Todd Howard.
Yeah, the art direction in particular in Pokemon Sword and Shield was fantastic and very much helped.
Except for this, how it's it does look like it's suffering. Like that's what the Pokédex entry alludes to, and then I see it happening in front of me.
Yeah.
I just want to put it in the box and never bring it out, so it doesn't have to walk around and be in pain.
Yeah, agreed. So I have pictures and names for all the other ones, so we can go through. Every one of them is a step up. I think the next one looks the coolest, even though it's still a bit naff. It gets across the idea of mashing two Pokemon together.
Yeah.
Well
I
enough.
I just need to understand what is happening with that flat surface.
Nothing. It's fun.
Okay.
It reminds me of a Dark Souls enemy because there's an area in Dark Souls 1 and there's a bunch of back halves of dragons, undead zombie dragons chasing around in this area. It's a big wide flat area and they ran out of time building it, so they literally just copy pasted these enemies scattered all over this area. Anyway, that's what it reminds me of. If you play Dark Souls, you know what I'm talking about.
You know what it is.
I just realized that its face sort of looks like a Pikachu.
Maybe it was an ancestor because it's electric, right? Clearly, it's electric.
You got it.
Well, it improved over time.
You got it. Got it in one.
Don't want to at it again.
Yeah.
I have to note though, I haven't really looked too closely at any of the other fossil Pokemon because I only have the first one.
Yeah.
And the little wing lightning bolt things. Where are they coming from? Are they coming from the front half or the back half?
The wing lightning bolts? Oh, right. They're little things.
Are they attached to his elbows? Is that what? Or are they coming out of the flat bit?
Yeah, I thought they were coming out of the flat bit. Mitch might know.
Yeah. Hedgehog like a Pikachu. Don't put those thoughts in my mind.
Oh, that would be good.
Yes. Is that yes to it's coming out of the elbows, or yes to it's coming out of the flat bit?
I would like to see some, well, HRG is dead, so he can't design Pikachu.
Unfortunately. He can't make it this sort of organic machine thing.
Werner Herzog, I think he could do a good take on some Pokemon. He really needs to get into wrestling. He needs to do it. He loves wrestling. He needs to get involved somehow.
Once he's done with the Mandalorian.
Yeah, exactly.
Get right on it. It's next on his to-do list.
Yeah. The other one, Yoko Taro. I'd like to see Yoko Taro design.
Yeah, I remember we talked about it on stream. Like, if
we're talking about him directing a game, which I feel like I take that back. I feel like I should direct a game, but
you would hire him to help.
I would ask him to direct. I'd ask him to design a Pokemon. I'd ask all my favorite artists to design Pokemon. Toby Fox, you can design some Pokemon.
Yeah.
Creepy Flower Pokemon designed by Toby Fox. That'd be rad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's attached to the elbow/wrist, so it's coming out of the front half.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. Now, because obviously you can't see it in the previous one because his elbows are iced up. But presumably they exist.
Yeah.
Under there.
I'm gonna look up a video. Mitch might be able to tell us a bit better in the comments, but I'm pretty sure that all of these Pokemon are like really strong, or at least some of them are.
The typing is really unusual too, which probably helps.
Yeah.
The first one's Electric Ice. I don't know what all the other ones
Yeah,
are.
Electric Ice. This is Electric Dragon. The next one is Water Dragon, and I think the last one is Water Ice. Maybe?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But let's move on to the next one, which is also a terrifying monstrosity, but somehow not as bad as Octozolt. I'm pretty sure this one is really strong.
Yeah, I don't know. They really seem like definitely the previous one was better than Octozolt. This one, I can't definitively agree that it's better.
Well, there's something weird going on because you have to compare this one to the next one, which is Arctovish.
Okay.
Because there's weird things going on. Well, you don't have to, but you can.
If I so choose.
I'm not telling you to do this. Yeah, they share the same head, but they're at different angles. I think that's an interesting. Can you see what I'm getting at?
Yeah, but they're different colors too. Like the top, instead of the blue, it's got the red.
Yeah.
It's attached to a red. It's fused with a red Pokemon.
Yeah. Maybe I should put them all on the screen at the same time, and you can sort of see where they're all derived from. I
gotta say, that's the thing though that kind of is I found frustrating about this idea though, is that I can see what one of them is supposed to look like, or at least a little bit. I can get a very good estimation of what a whole dinosaur fossil would look like if that stupid lady would let me give her 2 halves of the whole instead of demanding a fish fossil or some shit. But there's no way of doing it, and I have to continue Frankensteining these boys together.
I was going to bring up the same point. It frustrates me so much because when I got Octozolt, like, I was like, oh, this is terrible. I'm going to look up what all of them look like. And I assumed there was going to be like at least 8, because there's 4 Pokemon here.
Yeah.
Or 4 remnants of Pokemon. But yeah, you don't get to see the other half of the dragon thing. And you don't get to see the back half of the HR Gigachu. HR Gigachu. There's an episode title for us.
I totally agree. I feel like what they could have done is just have had 2 Pokemon, 2 fossils.
Oh yeah.
And the option to fuse, and so there would technically be 3 fossil Pokemon, but you could have a whole Pokemon at the end of it. You get at least 1 regular looking Pokemon.
They have to put special earrings on and do a synchronized dance, and they have to go and then they can fuse together.
Yeah, that's what they have to do.
Have you talked about this? Have you seen Dragon Ball Z?
It's the first time we're talking about Dragon Ball Z. We've never talked about it before.
Is this true?
I do know that they do the thing.
Yeah.
To fuse. I don't know any of the context of it, but I do know that they do the thing.
It's when they jump the shark. It's another shark jump. There's a lot of sharks that get jumped, and this is one of them.
This is the next level of shark jumping.
Well, it's just on the actually, yeah, you're right. This took it to a new level of shark jumping because it's like they love introducing new characters, and this is like, let's fuse characters together, and let's fuse a character that is the child version of an already existing character who started out by coming to us from the future.
Yeah. See, this is the shit. And Mitch is saying in the comments that he's been trying, and he has been trying. He's been trying to convince me to watch Dragon Ball Z, and I have so little interest in watching it because it exactly like they look exactly the same, right? Everyone looks exactly the same, and half of them are like father-son brothers. Like, I cannot keep it straight. Who the fuck is Goku and Gohan? Are they the same person? Is one of them the son? I don't know, and I don't care to find out, frankly.
I feel like that relationship specifically is the easiest one to remember. Goku is Gohan's father.
Okay. But then I thought like maybe they're just different forms of the same person.
They've got a billion forms each. Goku's got the most forms.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this was definitely and it was yeah, Mitch has just said it. This was exacerbated because we did a demo of the Dragon Ball Z card game, and it sucked. It sucked so hard, and it was the same thing. I was going through, and I had 3 fucking Goku cards, but they were all different. Like one, he had different colored hair, and I was like, "Oh, what's this one?" He's like, "Oh, that's when he's in a different form."
That's Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Goku. God.
Yeah. Yeah, he was nicer about it than the guy running the demo, but he's like, "Oh, that's so and so Goku," and I was like, "But it's the same guy," and he's like, "Yeah, he's got different forms." I'm like, and I have both of them at the same time, and I can put them down at the same time. And he's like, "Yeah."
Yeah. Did you ever play Dragon Ball Fighter Z when we were playing it for a bit?
No.
I brought it over to Tommy's, I think. Yeah, there's so many Gokus.
So
You could make multiple teams of just Gokus.
yeah. So many Gokus.
And the biggest shark jump, there might be more since, but the last major shark jump I remember is Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan tier.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll watch the most recent series and see what's the current power level. Like, have they had to do a soft reset? Have they had to do like a stat squish?
Yeah,
Like,
there's so
back down
much
a
power
peg?
creep. It's fucking ridiculous. Because like, yeah. So I haven't watched anywhere near all of Dragon Ball Z. I watched the Cell Saga and the Frieza Saga on Cheese TV when I was a kid. Didn't watch it since. I watched that first season like 3 times, and then every time I reach the end of it, I'm like, I don't want to watch them go to Namek and fuck around and do all that shit, and then I drop off. So I'm not the biggest Dragon Ball Z expert, but I've absorbed a lot of it through cultural osmosis and being a boy, age 27.
You gotta love fights.
You gotta. Well, I mean, I think it's fucking cool as hell, but it's also, I mean, it's not as bad as Naruto, but like, it's also lame as hell.
Yeah, yeah. But they're both shonen animes, aren't they?
Yeah.
Just gotta fight. That's the thing. I remember I was complaining. I was like, they just fight each other. Like that's all. I feel like that's all it is. They just fight, and I was like, that's all Naruto is, and I feel like that's all One Piece is. I feel like that's all fucking any of those fucking animes are. It's just the main character fights.
There's Dragon Ball Z also has the problem where they like Japanese audiences don't seem to care as much about being spoiled on things, and there's a famous Dragon Ball Z bit where they're like at the end of each episode there's like their voiceover and it's like, will Goku be able to defeat this person? And there's one that's like, will Goku be able to defeat Frieza? Tune in next time on Goku defeats Frieza. Yeah, we've talked enough about Dragon Ball Z. Is it obvious that this is our last slide and we have no more content?
It's okay. I've got one to talk
Okay.
about. I thought it would be in here, and it wasn't. So I'm gonna put it in here. I'm gonna spoiler warning too. If you haven't finished Sword and Shield, this
we're beyond
happens
that.
right at the end, just in case.
Oh, right at the end.
Yeah, right at the end.
Oh, is it not Pokemon and people? Oh no,
it's
it is Pokemon.
Yeah.
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 Doesn't look like a Pokemon.
No, it doesn't.
But
It really doesn't. And I know it's not supposed to. Like, I know it's not. I know it's supposed to be this energy thing. But fuck off. Like, this is not. Like, what is this? It looks like what if somebody was like, I need to make Porygon the Pokemon today in 2019. This is what they would make. Like, this is my digital Pokemon that is not a Digimon.
yeah. Oh, this is like a virus.
This is like a virus.
This is a Trojan.
Oh my god, I'm getting the virus Digimon.
No. The Cis Key Pokemon.
It's just.
I like how it's red and blue.
About it. The color scheme is good. Red and blue can't go wrong.
I thought it,
except with Druddigan, they went very wrong. But
yeah. It's whack that you catch Eternatus before you catch Sword Dog or Shield Dog.
Yeah. I was thinking about it later when I was running around the wild area. I think Mitch commented on it, and it made me think about how there's no legendary trio. And I know not every game has had that. Not every game has had a legendary trio. Most have, I feel like.
Or something similar.
Or something similar along the lines of. And this one hasn't. And I guess that's because they've got the Gigamax raids and stuff that you can go after and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it was a little lackluster that the two legendaries in this game, like I'm counting Zacian and the other one.
Zamazenta.
Zamazenta, that's it. As one, because like the Sword and Shield dogs, and then this fucking thing, and then that's it. That's all she wrote. There's no other cool, interesting Pokemon.
Yeah.
Legendary style.
I hadn't thought about that. I think I'm cool with that. I'm over legendary Pokemon. So that's fine with me, actually.
I guess it's just you're gonna put this in the game and not something else.
Yeah.
Like, why does it look like this? And I don't know. I don't know what an energy core Pokemon would look like. This is why I'm not the Pokemon designer, I guess.
Yeah, I am.
Not like this, I don't think.
Not like this.
I mean, I'm not gonna tell you what a good energy core Pokemon looks like, but I can tell you what a bad one looks like.
Come
That's
in.
this one.
Ali's come to review a Pokemon.
Hi.
Excellent.
I don't know which Pokemon though. Hello.
Do the man of the moment. Do Stonjourner.
Okay. I'll do both of them.
Yeah.
What do you think of this Pokemon?
It looks like Stonehenge, but wearing socks.
But what do you think of it? Not what does it look like. What do you think of it?
I kind of like it.
I hate it personally.
It's like a little guy sitting on some stilts.
Yeah, that's the idea. It kicks people with its big legs.
I like it.
I think it sucks, mainly
Big
because
leg
that's what its
energy.
face looks like.
Big leg energy.
This is also...
You know how I feel about that one. It's
Do
a
I?
fucking acorn with snot coming out of its nose.
Did we talk about this?
You showed me it before. I hate it.
Oh, I did, yeah.
I don't know what to make of its mouth.
It's terrible. Its mouth is constantly open.
It looks like it's like they literally just threw some features on the ground and shuffled them.
Well, the idea is it's
Funny
supposed...
you say that.
It's funny you say that, says Bianca, because it's almost exactly what they did. So the idea is that they get two Pokemon fossils and then merge them together. And this is what turned out, and its life is pain. It went extinct because it was... it was
Wait, it
too...
actually went extinct?
It went extinct because it was walking too slowly because its life is too painful.
Oh, so this isn't like an actual Pokemon.
No, it is.
But
It's in the game,
it doesn't
but
exist
we've-
anymore in the current Pokemon universe?
You can revive a fossil.
We have the technology.
We have the technology, says
I like
Bianca.
that.
There's this one
Have
which
you
is
seen
slow.
Jurassic Park?
Have I seen Jurassic Park? I have not.
I hate all of that. I hate
yeah.
all of it so much.
These are all the merging, all the
Correct.
mergers.
So is this like those two are
Yeah,
one and then those two are one and that's part of that shit?
yeah, and but they don't
That's-
show you the body of this fucking yellow.
So you just make some
motherfucker.
fucked up hybrid thing.
Yeah.
I don't... Why does this have to be involved? Why you gotta make fossils in... Why is there fossils now?
Fossils have always been in it since the first game, but you never
I
can.
mean, I've never played Pokemon
Yeah,
before, so
that's fair.
I've only watched the TV show. I don't know.
Fossils have always been in there, but you never combine them into fucked up things like this.
I hate it.
Yeah. Thank you for your review, though. Much appreciated. I'm glad to have gotten that insight.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go
Bye.
text and cry. Bye.
Bye. Definitely a creature from Spore. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it does look like... Yeah.
I think we wrap this up.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So I am going on leave at the end of this week. I'll have a lot of time to work on shit like this and my other podcast, which needs to be rebooted. A bunch of YouTube things I want to do. So look forward to that. But the main thing is that at some point I would like to actually spend a day banging out presentations. Banking them is what we like to call them.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I've been guests lately. Yeah. Well, Ali isn't a guest. Ali's like it's like guest star.
Recurring.
Yeah, recurring character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has been good. I remember it's been a little while since we had a guest stream, and then Mitch came on to do the most recent, the previous one with me, which was good. So yeah, the offer is always open though. If you have a specific
That's true.
Pokemon you want to talk about, hit us up. Let us know your thoughts. We will platform you
Mm-hmm.
and deplatform you if necessary.
If you start talking about what languages people should speak in different countries.
Yoink. See you later. So yeah, if anyone ever wants to discuss a specific Pokemon, hit us up. You can come on, you can state your case, and everyone can, do their own research and come to their own conclusions.
Kieran will be doing the food Pokemon one, hopefully.
Yeah,
I've said it many times. I will not be doing it.
the food Pokemon one. I just want to keep teasing it
Yeah.
forever, and then it's going to be a
I shouldn't
3-hour
have-
special because there's so much to talk about.
Look, I'm not saying that I'll never do it, but there's a lot of hurdles that need to be jumped. That's a reference no one will get.
I know I certainly didn't.
It's a reference to something that happened in wrestling 2 weeks ago.
That's one for the wrestling fans.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much for joining in the chat, everyone. Really appreciated it. Now it's a short episode, but I started work early today and had no time. But the past few presentations, at least that I've done, have been made now before the show starts. So they've been pretty good. So we're keeping along this track.
Yeah, it's worked out all right.
Yeah. I say that, by the way, I put a lot of thought into this show. I'm not abandoning y'all. I'm not giving you bad quality stuff. I rewatched the Wings of Redemption Down the Rabbit Hole video. It's like, gotta be not in a position where you're literally surviving off people trolling you for a living.
Yeah, no, very unhealthy.
Yeah. Yeah, on that awesome note, it was wrestling of Final Fantasy. Always a safe bet with Brent. Oh, wrestling or Final Fantasy. Yeah, I mean, I was going to... have a good night, everyone.
See you guys.
See ya.